In this video, we bring you noteworthy updates from the Australian bikie and the criminal underworld, covering events from the past week. This includes the latest on a high-ranking Comanchero Sergeant-at-Arms, updates on the highly popular and controversial former Rebels bikie president, and a massive meth seizure by the Australian Federal Police which resulted from an anonymous tip-off to Crime Stoppers. The first update comes from one of Australia's top Comanchero bikies who is set to be freed from jail and back in Melbourne by the end of the year. Tarek Zahed, the Comanchero Sergeant-at-Arms, has been incarcerated for the past 2 years after admitting to destroying evidence related to the 2014 execution of family friend Yusuf Assoum in Sydney. Initially charged with murdering Assoum alongside his brother Abdul, Tarek's charges were reduced just before the trial in 2022. He faced up to 7 years of imprisonment. However, he received only 2.5 years after pleading guilty to the lesser charge of ordering the destruction of the car used in the shooting. Abdul, on the other hand, pleaded guilty to being an accessory after the fact. Tarek's legal team were pushing for his immediate release, arguing that the 18 months he has spent in jail since August 2022 is sufficient punishment. The court documents revealed that Tarek believed Abdul was involved in Assoum's murder and acted to protect his brother by having the car destroyed. An associate was paid $2,000 to set the car on fire, but authorities intervened before it was completely destroyed. Once out, Zahed plans to reconnect with his Victorian bikie club. He will be living in Melbourne, where he aims to resettle and heal, leveraging his strong connections and facing fewer restrictions from authorities. Before being shot in a Sydney gym ambush that killed his brother Omar in 2022, Zahed was considered a potential successor to Mick Murray, the Melbourne-based national leader. Ultimately, the position went to Sydney's Alan Meehan. Meehan was later removed, after he was arrested. Emir Benji Saravic is believed to be the current head of the club. A psychological report presented to the NSW Supreme Court revealed that Zahed moved to Melbourne in 2021 with his wife and children to distance himself from the Comancheros. He now returns to a bikie gangland landscape that has significantly changed since his departure over 2 years ago. With time served, Tarek Zahed will be eligible for release as early as December 27. Currently Zahed is on the best of his behavior in the prison, aiming to improve his chances for parole. According to his legal team, Zahed's behavior in prison has been exemplary as he seeks to demonstrate his rehabilitation and readiness to reintegrate into society. The second update is about Dean Martin, a former Rebels bikie. On Tuesday, July 23, 2024, his visa was cancelled by the Home Affairs Minister on character grounds. This could lead to his deportation back to New Zealand. Martin was taken into custody by the Australian Border Force and is now in an immigration detention centre. As soon as that happened, Martin's legal team applied to the Supreme Court to stop the deportation. His case will be heard at the end of the month, which is quicker than if it had gone to the federal court and faced delays. Dean Martin, 56, is a former president of the Rebels Bikie Club, the uncle of renowned rugby player Dustin Martin, and the brother of the late Nick Martin, a deported Rebels president who died in New Zealand while in exile. Martin is also among over 20 CFMEU members with bikie affiliations who were recently sidelined in Victoria following a joint investigation into the construction union. Martin has lived in Australia for 3 decades and was working as a CFMEU delegate at the Indigenous labour hire firm A2B. Martin came in spotlight when he briefly dated Lydia Thorpe when she was a member of the Joint Parliamentary Law Enforcement Committee in 2021. When details of the relationship emerged in October 2022, it triggered her resignation as Greens Deputy Senate Leader. After resigning from the Greens leadership position because of her undisclosed past relationship with Martin, Thorpe later quit the party entirely after a long-running dispute over its position on the Voice to Parliament referendum. In 2018, Dean Martin stepped down as Rebels president after his brother, Shane Martin, was deported to New Zealand. Shane died in 2021 after several failed bids to return to Australia. The case highlighted the New Zealand government's concerns about its citizens who had little relationship with their home country and were being deported despite their long-standing connections to Australia. Martin is a New Zealand citizen and claims Aboriginal heritage, argues that his deportation is unjust. The Commonwealth's lawyers have challenged the evidence Martin has provided, calling it hearsay. But Martin claims in court documents that he's a recognised member of Tasmania's Mannequin Aboriginal community and therefore not within reach of Parliament's deportation powers, as per a 2020 High Court decision. He claims to have provided genealogical records, a statutory declaration from a Manigan elder and a copy of a resolution from the Aboriginal Corporation Tasmania to the Department of Home Affairs back in October 2021. It will be interesting to see how his Aboriginal claims unfold in the Sydney Supreme Court. Meanwhile, in news from the Martin family, Richmond legend Dustin Martin has stunned the AFL world by announcing his retirement with immediate effect. In a press release on Tuesday, August 6, Martin expressed his deep gratitude for the opportunities the club provided him, including 3 premierships. "It's hard to put into words what the Richmond Football Club means to me. I love this place so much," Martin said. "I will be forever grateful for the love and support I have received from everyone here. To my teammates, the brotherhood we share is what I value most, as well as the bond with the staff and coaches. Thank you to all of you." Our last update is about an organised crime syndicate operating in southwest Sydney, which was busted by the Australian Federal Police when a southwest Sydney man was charged for his alleged involvement in a plot to import almost 900 kilograms of methamphetamine into Australia from the United States, hidden inside industrial machinery. The man has been remanded in custody and will next face court on 2nd of October. The AFP started covert operation named Operation Alstonville last month, following an anonymous tip-off to Crime Stoppers, and intelligence received from the United States Homeland Security, relating to large drug shipments being sent to a Sydney-based furniture store. On July 22, 2024, Australian Border Force officers located and examined a shipping container in Port Botany, which contained 2 separate computer numerical control or CNC machines. A powdered substance was identified and subjected to presumptive testing, returning a positive result for methamphetamine. The matter was then referred to the AFP. Further inquiries revealed an estimated 896 kilograms of methamphetamine hidden inside packages in both machines. The drugs were removed, and replaced with fake powder. The consignment was then delivered to its intended address in Warwick Farm, 30 kilometers west of the Sydney's CBD. Police then tracked the consignment and identified 2 men who inspected and opened the container. With the help of a forklift, they began handling the contents inside. Both men were subsequently arrested, and the officers executed search warrants on the Warwick Farm property, a home in Minto and a vehicle. One of the men was later released pending further inquiries. A Winston Hills man was charged with 1 count of attempting to possess a commercial quantity of an unlawfully imported border-controlled drug, namely methamphetamine. The maximum penalty for this offense is life imprisonment. Investigations are ongoing and further arrests are anticipated. AFP Detective Superintendent Peter Fogarty announced that 896 kilograms of methamphetamine, with a street value of a massive $828 million, was seized. This quantity could have been distributed as 8.9 million individual deals. Methamphetamine is the second most used illicit drug in Australia, and its effects are widespread, leading to an average of 27 hospital admissions daily last year. Fogarty emphasized that despite the efforts of criminal syndicates to hide their activities, the AFP and its partners will continue to pursue and prosecute those responsible. He urged anyone with information about the consignment to contact Crime Stoppers. The operation's success underscores the critical role of intelligence sharing and the public's vigilance in reporting suspicious activities, reinforcing the message that the authorities are resolute in dismantling the operations of those who seek to profit from human misery. This level of operation points to a well-financed and highly organized criminal network, capable of mobilizing significant assets and personnel to execute their illicit activities. The sheer scale of the drug haul underscores the lengths to which these syndicates will go to flood the market and maximize their profits. Further investigations are ongoing. If you're looking for more thrilling and edgy bikie updates, don't hesitate, whack that subscribe button, spread and share the video, hit that like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments. And for the true grid Spartans out there, consider sending a super thanks or buy us a coffee to show some love. Your support keeps us going and the channel thriving, especially since most of our videos aren't monetized due to all the crime-related content. Stay tuned, stay curious, stay awesome, and take care. Wu-Tang.